Hi everyone, this is called The Ghost in the Machine. This is a story about our Maytag Commercial washer, which we purchased from Home Depot about 16 months ago in Burnaby, BC, Canada. Our machine worked fine up until about 2 weeks ago when in the middle of the night, while we were sleeping, it turned itself on. The machine had been used early in the day. It ran through a wash cycle. Everything was fine. The lid was open, and you can tell it's clean. And it sounded like it wanted to drain and spin. So I tried to use the button here and push this to cancel. There was no lights on when this was happening. It was just running. However, it didn't respond to that, so I turned off the breaker and unplugged the machine for 24 hours, plugged it back in. I recalibrated the machine as per instructions, and that did nothing. So I contacted Home Depot because it started up again. They said that we had to phone the warranty company, which is Squaretrade, also known as Allstate, who's in the USA. Contacted them. They asked me to run a clean cycle, which is basically running a cycle with deep water, the hottest water temperature, and put 4 cups of vinegar in the machine, and then let it run through. Once you let it agitate for about 3 or 4 minutes, stop the cycle and let it sit. I tried to do that. However, the machine, after maybe a minute, turned on itself and actually drained everything and went into a spin cycle, so I couldn't do the clean cycle as instructed. However, I tried by restarting it again, following through the steps with deep water and deep water level, hottest water temperature, and then turning off the breaker and unplugging the machine for an hour, and then letting it run through. Did that, and it went through the cycle. Everything seemed fine. However, it started up again by itself. So I'm not sure why this is happening with this machine. It's very troubling because had I not been home and actually turned off the breaker, this would probably have caused a house fire and destroyed everything in the house with us in it and all our belongings, etc. That's very frightening to have a machine that's doing this by itself. The company Squaretrade, when contacted again, set up an appointment for a technician to come, told us there was a parts box coming, and gave us a phone number and that the technician would contact us on that date. That date came, and we received 1 box of parts, and the technician was looking for 2 boxes instead of 1. I went back and checked with Squaretrade, and it turns out they hadn't even shipped this second box, which we needed, and it wasted 5 hours of my time with no pay because I had to take time off of work. And that really, it just added to the stress. So we were going to have to wait for another week and possibly find out whether this technician could come. And it's not the technician's fault. They are a subcontractor from the warranty company. So I went back to Squaretrade, and I actually emailed their CEO after doing a massive search on the internet, trying to contact their CEO, Carl Wiley. His email is impossible to find, but I finally found it and sent him an email, told him about what was happening, and that was a fire hazard, and that, we wanted the machine replaced. We were willing to accept a replacement. However, the agent that we were contacted by explained to us there were no washers available. And my sneaking suspicion is because it's a lemon and they don't have any in stock. However, when it came down to it, we negotiated that they reimburse us for the cost of the machine. And they did. Okay, that's fine. However, again, with this, we looked at buying another machine. We found another one, but because of the tariffs between US and Canada, the machines went up by almost $400. And again, buying the same model, we did find one at Home Depot. Buying the same model, I don't know. It was kind of a decision we didn't take lightly. I went in and read more reviews, and back in the history, which I hadn't seen before, there was other people with this same issue. I don't know what their outcome was. It didn't sound positive. It didn't sound like the company did anything or Maytag did anything. However, our previous machine was a Maytag, and it lasted 30 years. Of course, it had a lot of metal parts opposed to plastic pieces, which I'm certain this one has from my research. So we're at the point where we've hired a technician to come out and take a look at it. It will cost $150 for them just to take a look. And I'm going to videotape how that goes to see if they can find out what the problem was or is and fix it. If it's too expensive, we're just going to go and find a different brand, do a lot of research before we invest any money. Again, we don't want anything in our house that is a fire hazard. And I'm certain if that had occurred and a fire had started, our house insurance company would have sued not only Maytag, but they would have sued the warranty company as well for knowing that this had this problem before. It wouldn't have been hard to find once you dug in and did look at a lot of reviews. You would find that this has been a problem before. But to have a washer that's only, a year and a half old actually do this is very scary. We've never had a ghost in the house before, and I don't see why we should have one now or welcome it or have this malfunctioning piece of equipment sold to anybody else. That's a big concern of ours. So stay safe. Don't buy this one. Certainly don't buy this brand, and do not buy that model. Keep yourself safe. Thanks for watching. We'll update soon.